Welcome back to 11 of the last 20. Next on our countdown is a state champion whose skillful touch on the ball was feared by players and coaches throughout the LL League. Check him out.
Number 7, Warwick's Kemal, two-time LL League All-Star, 2006 All-State.
Kemal, I was fortunate enough to play a couple years of club with him. We were the same year going through, and he's just has such a great first touch. Has a lot of creativity to his game where he's able to do things that you just don't see other players think about or even attempt on the field.
Kemal was a scary player. He was quick, he was talented, he had an edge to him. You loved playing with him, I'm sure, but he was an intimidating player to play against.
Loved the game of soccer, loved to play it, very competitive, very demanding. Tremendous player with the ball at his feet. He could beat anybody one-on-one.
Kemal had a fabulous junior year when they had their state run. He kept everything together. He just scored all the time, it seemed like. And he was just everywhere. Was just extremely quick, and he struck the ball and went in the net.
He was a special player, very technically gifted. He ran the midfield. They had a very special team that year, and he was a major cog in that.
Wow, nice little delay and a goal.
Beautiful. Kemal again.
Just that one little hesitation. He bit the fake.
I was involved in the first goal in our semifinal, had our game-winning shot in the state final.
The first Lancaster team to ever do it. The Warwick Warriors win 1-0 here over Westchester Henderson.
Just his knack and ability to put the ball in the back of the net. Very driven athlete as well.
I mean, he was dangerous all over the field. His career, both high school and then what he was able to do after high school, it's obvious the kind of player that he was based upon the accomplishments that he had at Warwick, at team, individually. That kid could play the game.
Yep, that's 14. Kemal.
Number 6, Ephrata's Dan Hagee, 2006 Section 2 MVP and All-State, 59 career goals for the Mounts.
Dan Hagee is probably one of the most talented players I've ever been around. And he does that in such a unique way. He's just ultra athletic. I got to play with him for 3 years. He's a year behind me, and he just had a way of getting past players, even if they got tackles in, just his strength and his power to get through them and get past them.
Dan not only had speed, he had speed with the ball. A lot of players, come through the league with speed. But if he could control the ball at the same speed, then it was ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? I don't even think Hagee knew that one was going in.
Real good athlete, tremendous speed. Another guy that was hard to just contain.
He was a work ethic type of individual. He spread the defense. When he was in the top third of the field, they had to change their whole game plan because of what he could do and how he could react to the situation.
Good ball back, goal.
That's two.
That's
like
Hagee.
that.
I know his senior year after we had a big class that left, he was kind of the one that was kind of left behind to take over the program. And he delivered another section title and really carried the team throughout that senior year.
Dan's career can be wrapped up in one game, probably against the powerhouse Cumberland Valley. We're playing them up at Governor Mifflin. And we're losing, minute to go. He makes a run across the field. They get him the ball, beats 3 defender, and goes in 50, 60 yards for the score to tie it with under a minute to go. A minute later in overtime, he does the same thing. From the other direction, we put him over on the other side, gets the ball, goes in, scores, and we win the game.
You just saw natural talent just oozing out of him as he played, and it was fun to watch at times. I wish I would have been there to see what he was like for his senior year too. But just a dominant player in all aspects of the field, whether it was midfield or times we needed a goal, we would put him up top, and he always found a way to deliver.
Number 5, Ephrata's Andre Petrusha, 2017 Section 2 MVP, All-State, 53 career goals for the Mounts.
Andre is the perfect coach's dream. First to practice, last to leave, cleaned up, did everything you wanted. He loved maybe practice more than the game.
Yeah, I know Andre from a different perspective coaching against him, and he was a guy who was a tough one to play against. One of the most powerful left foots I've seen, could score from set pieces or range almost at ease.
Shot score!
There's never been a left foot like his in the league, and there might not ever be. He could absolutely hit a ball with power and right on target.
And one of the characteristics that made Andre a great player was his shot was quick. So he didn't need much space, and he wasn't one of those guys who wound up and struck the ball with this big, long, swooping arch of his leg. He was just a really quick, and suddenly he had the shot off.
The thing I enjoyed about him was his explosiveness. I mean, you look in the middle, and all of a sudden it was like, get him the ball. and he would just take off. And his speed, his skills, they were, clearly at the top of the game. But he was just fun to watch for me.
It rained one night, we had to go to the gym. We're inside the gym, he put the ball down at mid-court and said, I'll put it in the basket. He did it. He did it a second time. He did it twice in a row, the ball from mid-court on the ground, kicked it in the basket. It was mind-boggling. He had that kind of accuracy.
But I remember one game when Ephrata was at our place at Manheim Central in the stadium, and we were dominating the first half. I mean, it was one of those times where I don't even know if Ephrata had the ball a grand total of 2-3 minutes of the 40, but 2 or 3 minutes before halftime, they sent the ball up, and suddenly Andre was on the end of it. He had just an opening, and
Score! Petrushev and Sensitive 1-2.
and it was a goal. And then maybe 30 seconds later, he did the same thing, and here we are at halftime. We just dominated the first half, and yet the score was 2-0.
Petrushev shot, and it's 2-0. Petrushev just leans into one, the knuckler, out and down.
And we were down 2 goals. It's one of those things where you look your kids in the eye and say, hey, you played great. I know the score's 2-0, but you played great. Just they've got a kid by the name of Andre Petrushev on their team.
Just no chance.
Number 4, Manheim Central's Kenzie Arment, 2-time section MVP, Barron's all-time leader in assists.
When I think about Kenzie Arment, the one thing that I think about is just his dogged determination. You weren't going to tell him he couldn't do something, and we saw that from when I first started coaching. He was in the middle school, and we could see that coming up through.
Mackenzie was a little fire plug.
Good
Great
first
goal.
touch,
Great
nice
goal.
finish.
Great goal.
Little blonde guy that just buzzed all over the field. Passing was outstanding. Could just put a ball right in someone's path and open up defenses.
Kenzie Arment from Manheim Central, again, another tremendous athlete. He saw the field well. He saw his teammates well.
He was just very technical, a team leader.
That's a great setup right there. One time goes in and Manheim Central, just like that, ties it up. Unbelievable play by number 16, Justin Meyer. The setup perfectly by Arment.
He was what you want somebody in the middle to be doing, to lead your team, to execute. Sometimes he wouldn't be the flashiest guy in the field. He just did everything right.
He saw stuff developing, sometimes from a defensive standpoint, knew where to be, and his anticipation was impeccable, and it served him well at the next level as well at Penn State.
And it didn't matter what the situation was. He was going headlong into it, and that took him into a position where in college he didn't have a whole lot of offers, but he knew where he wanted to get to, and ended up as a Penn State Nittany Lion. One of the things that I think made him really good, more than really good, in those early stages, in those earlier years, he had to learn how to play a little different. So when he grew into his frame as a junior and senior, he had those skills that, when coupled with his physical skills, his technical abilities, that made him a dangerous player, player that a lot of people didn't enjoy playing against, but we sure liked having him on our side.
Got it on goal.
We've cracked the top 5 in our countdown, but coming up next, we unveil who made the top 3 and who's walking away as our #1 boys soccer player of the last 20 years.